What's up, y'all? I'm your host, Stan Beckton, and you're listening to The Nightstand, where we provide you with an intriguing social commentary on sports, entertainment, and more. We got an amazing show for you today, so stay tuned and listen up. That's right, y'all. Y'all been waiting. It's finally here. The Nightstand with your host, Stan Beckton. That's me, yours truly. You know the name. You probably know of me. You might have met me. If you haven't met me, you'll be hearing of me soon. But today's show, we got a lot planned for you today. We got the XFL. We got the NBA All-Star Game. We got the trade deadline. We got all sorts of things. And keep in mind, 2 days away, Valentine's Day. If you ain't bought your gift, you might want to go get that now. Just saying. But let's get right into it. This past weekend, you had the opening weekend of the XFL. The first time the XFL has been back in a long time. Vince McMahon and Oliver Luck brought it back. They brought it back. They got 8 teams now. 8 teams in all sorts of different cities. They got one in my home city, Washington, D.C. I'm not from D.C. I'm from PG County, but I still claim that as my city. You know what I mean? If you from there, you kind of know. I never tell nobody I'm from D.C., but I tell them, like, that's my city. I still rep it. So, yeah, we got a team. It's real interesting, though, that the XFL is coming when it comes, right after the Super Bowl, especially with the AAF just failing last year. You know, the AAF that had Johnny Manziel in it, Johnny Heisman, Johnny Football, Manziel. So, yeah, if even he couldn't keep that league alive and it failed after just 1 year, then what makes you think the XFL is going to be any different? Well, I mean, for one, they got a lot of different things that separates them from a traditional game of football. The AAF was kind of similar, the exact same thing as the NFL, just a minor league. But the XFL is completely different. I mean, everyone noticed the kickoff rule, right? Where the players were within 10 yards of each other to start, not running downfield. That makes the game a lot more safer, takes away the injury concern risk that you often see in the game of football. And then you had the unique point after attempts. That really caught my eye watching the game. The point after attempts. So to sum it down for you, after the touchdown in the NFL, you can either go for 1, which is your kick, or go for 2 from the 2-yard line and get 2 points. But in the XFL, after a touchdown, you can run a play from the 2, 5, or 10 yard, and that's worth 1, 2, or 3 points respectively. The team has to run an offensive play, and there's no kicking plays allowed. No kicks. That means there's no blaming the game on the kicker who might not do nothing in practice the whole week and have the whole team mad when the one thing he's supposed to be doing and he misses it. That's great for the game of football. And you still have the same thing where the defense can cause a turnover and return it and get the same number of points. So the game's never really over. You have to go for 2. I mean, you could take a knee, of course, but, like, who's going to take a knee? Come on now. It's the XFL. But let's recap some of the games. So the first game, you had the DC Defenders defeating the Seattle Dragons 31-19. In this game, the DC Defenders were led by Cardale Jones. And let me tell you about Cardale Jones. You might remember him from his national championship run with Ohio State a couple years ago. And let me just tell you, Cardale Jones has a talent to be the face of this new league. Cardale Jones balled out in his first game, straight flat like that. He balled out. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. 31 points in your first game. He still never lost a start. Didn't lose a start at Ohio State. Hasn't lost a start in the XFL. He can be the face of the league. That's if he doesn't leave for the NFL first. So they got to worry about that out in D.C. Then the next game, you had the Houston Roughnecks 37 over the L.A. Wildcats 17. Here was an amazing offensive performance by P.J. Walker, who threw for 4 touchdowns. These 4 touchdowns, let me tell you, this is kind of funny. The Los Angeles Wildcats, they fired their defensive coordinator after the first ever game in the organization's history. 1 game, fired, gone, out of there, adios. I don't know how to say goodbye in any other languages, but he's gone, like, after 1 game because the quarterback threw for 4 touchdowns. That's ridiculous. 4 touchdowns? Come on now. And then the real amazing story that you saw in this game, it was trending on Twitter for a while, is that you had one Roughneck player who came back and played in the XFL after having 3 torn ACLs, a broken back, and in this game he put up 4 catches and 50 yards. 3 torn ACLs? Like, you only have 2 when you're born. He tore it 3 times. Imagine that. And he broke his back. Like Mike Tyson said,
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What, a vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
Yes, broke his back. Just like that. His back is broken. Spinal. Yes. That was an amazing comeback by him to be able to play in the XFL and continue to chase his dreams. It's really inspirational, if we're being honest. Third game of the 4, you got the New York Guardians putting up 23 points on the Tampa Bay Vipers. This was the first time you see a quarterback get benched in the XFL in the middle of a game. Aaron Murray, who was once a great Georgia quarterback, got benched for Quentin Flowers. Yes, that Quentin Flowers from University of South Florida. Charlie Strong, Quentin Flowers. Yes, he's playing in the XFL. Aaron Murray, he had an awful performance. He only completed 47% of his passes and 2 interceptions. That's not a good performance for your first day out there. That's why he got benched. Quentin Flowers came out there, added some mobility to the offense, and that's why I think, in my opinion, he should be the starting quarterback for the Tampa Bay Vipers in the future. Add that mobility to the offense, might be able to open up a little bit. Who knows? And then the last game, you had the St. Louis Battlehawks putting up 15 on the Dallas Renegades. You got to take the Renegades' performance with a grain of salt, though, because they didn't have Landry Jones. Landry Jones is actually going to get the chance to play under Bob Stoops again on this team. And you got to imagine that playing under his college head coach, where he was so successful in college, that the Dallas Renegades are going to put up a better performance than the 9 points. That's all I got for you from the XFL. But now let's get into what else happened this past week. You had the NBA trade deadline. So the biggest name to be traded would have to be Andre Drummond. He's a rebounding king. Like, he'll put up 20 and 20 in his sleep, like that easy. At least that's what he was doing in Detroit. He got traded from the Detroit Pistons to the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's LeBron James' old team, Tristan Thompson's current team. Yes, Khloe Kardashian, Tristan Thompson, for those who may not follow sports that well. But Andre Drummond is a rebounding king. But it's only really a 3-month, 4-month rental for the Cavs because they're not making the playoffs, and I doubt Andre Drummond is going to re-sign with the Cavaliers because Kevin Love, he's another superstar they already have, and he doesn't want to be there. So why would Andre Drummond? You go from 2 of the worst cities in America in popular opinion, Detroit and Cleveland. Like, which is better? I don't know. I mean, I'm in Pittsburgh right now. I wouldn't put that up there either, but, I mean, I'd rather be in Pittsburgh than either of those if I'm being honest. The next trade you got is D'Angelo Russell and Andrew Wiggins. This was kind of a blockbuster trade. 2 big names. I mean, they might not be superstars, but they're definitely got some star power with their names. Andrew Wiggins was once supposed to be the next LeBron James. Now, he might not even be close to that now, but he's still like a talented player and coming into his own this season. So Andrew Wiggins going on the Warriors for D'Angelo Russell going to the Timberwolves. I think the Warriors long term are going to end up with the best end of this deal because Andrew Wiggins, if one thing he has potential for, that's defense. He's 6'8", 6'9", long arms, got the range to cover defense, and you're going to be playing with Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, 2 great defenders in the past decade, 2 of the greatest defenders in the past decade, if we're being honest, and Steph Curry's going to open up the floor for him. So I think long term, once the Warriors get healthy, they're going to win this trade. Now, you look at it from the other side, see D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell is going to be playing with his boy, Karl Anthony Towns, Cat. That's what they call him, Cat. And you got some good other players, Josh Okogie coming up, and other players here and there. They don't come to mind off the top of my head, but the real problem that those 2 are going to have is, yes, they're great friends, but they also have not been great defenders. And that's one thing you need. If you don't have a point guard defender, which D'Angelo Russell has proven he's not in this league throughout his early career, you need a big man defender to be able to help on the pick and roll. And Karl Anthony Towns, while he has the potential to do so, he just hasn't done it. And I don't know if he ever will. So until they get that fixed, I'm going to just have to say they're not going to be that good. They're not that good this year. They should have a good top pick, but the experts saying it's a weak draft. I mean, it is the experts. I don't know. I haven't looked at it yet. I like LaMelo, of course, but I ain't really look at everybody else. You can't get LaMelo when you already got D. Russ. So it's going to be a struggle for the Timberwolves, I think, coming up. The next trade in the trade deadline, you had Marcus Morris going to the Clippers. Everyone's saying this is putting the Clippers over the top, but for me personally, I don't see it. Is Marcus Morris going to guard Anthony Davis from the Lakers? I don't think so. Anthony Davis is 6'11", he can shoot from the inside, one of the best in the game. Shoot from the inside, shoot from the outside, take you off the dribble, post up, fade away, all that. One of the top 5 players in the game. Marcus Morris isn't going to guard him. Who he can guard is LeBron James. Put another body on LeBron James, that's what he's going to be useful for. That's why they got him. But I don't think long term that Marcus Morris is going to put them over the top. I still got the Lakers winning the championship because I think when it comes down to it, LeBron and Anthony Davis are the best tandem in the league, and I think they're going to get the job done. Flat out. Bringing up Marcus Morris, last night played against the 76ers, Clippers 76ers, and him and Embiid almost got into another fight. You hate to see it. You truly do. But speaking of the 76ers, they also put out some trades. Got some wing help. Got Alec Burks and Glenn Robinson. Now, do I think that's going to put them over the top to beat the Bucks? Not at all. But they do got some shooting help. I mean, they really do need it because Ben Simmons, he's not going to shoot a 3. He never shoots 3s. Like, he made one. You remember hearing about him since? Nope. Ben Simmons not going to shoot 3s, so they got some supposed shooting help, but we'll see how that works. Philadelphia's main challenger in the East for that up-and-coming spot under the Bucks is the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler has gone down there and got them boys Tyler Hero. I might not be pronouncing it correct, but that boy was a dog at Kentucky. I told y'all he was going to ball out. And then you got Kendrick Nunn out of nowhere. He was with the Warriors. They could use him right now. But Miami, they got Andre Iguodala and Jay Crowder. And these are moves I think will actually pay off for them in the playoffs and might lead to them making the finals. Not calling them as my finals pick yet, but I'm saying you got bodies to throw at Giannis in addition to Jimmy Butler. That might just be what pushes them over the edge. We got to wait and see. I'm not calling it yet, but keep in mind that those 2 moves because Jay Crowder, everywhere he goes, he plays good defense. That's what you can rely on. Then you also got the Rockets. The Rockets might have made the most shocking move no one expected. They traded away Clint Capella and did not get another big man back. So now they about to play small ball. P.J. Tucker at center. You've been seeing the memes. P.J. Tucker on stilts. He even tweeted about it himself. But I don't think that lineup's going to help them either. You look at the big men you got to face out in the West. You got Anthony Davis, Rudy Gobert, Nikola Jokic. The Lakers, who they'll have to play either the Lakers or the Clippers. Now, the Clippers, it might help, but against the Lakers, there's no way they can beat the Lakers when you can throw out Anthony Davis, the Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee back-to-back-to-back. You're just going to lose on the boards. Now, yes, they beat them the first game after. There was no film that anyone had on the small ball lineup for real. So I think when it's all said and done, the Rockets, this move's going to bite them because they're just going to lose on the boards. Offensive rebound is going to kill them. And if you can't rebound the ball, you can't get the ball. I don't care how many steps you're going to take on a step back. You can take 5 steps, James Harden. But you ain't going to get all the rebounds when you're fighting with people who going to get to the higher point before you. It's simple physics, science, chemistry. I don't know. It's simple, though. I think that's going to be their problem long term. But that's all that's happened the past week. Now let's look to what's about to happen this upcoming week. Now, this upcoming weekend, you got a couple of things going on here and there. But first, let me give a brief mention to the Daytona 500. That's one of NASCAR's biggest racing scenes. Everyone in the racing community is going to come out for that, old, past, and present, to see who's going to win NASCAR's biggest race. Now, I'm not an avid NASCAR watcher, so I'm not rooting for anyone specifically, but I will check the results and get back to you guys on who won that next week. The biggest event happening this weekend in the sports world, though, is the NBA All-Star Weekend. It's going to be held in Chicago, Illinois. You got a couple of things happening, a couple format changes. Let me explain those briefly to you guys. So basically, you got 2 teams, Team LeBron, Team Giannis. Both are going to be playing for the winning money to go to charity organizations in Chicago. The winner is going to get $200,000 for his designated organization, and the winner of each quarter score is going to get $100,000. So that's the charity donations. There's going to be a little game format changes too. So you have teams that are going to be playing Team Giannis and Team LeBron, and each quarter is going to start with a score of 0-0. At the start of the fourth quarter, they're going to take the total score from the team who's leading and set the final target score. So the final target score in honor of Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, is going to be 24 points plus the leading team score. So say the team had 100 points, the leading team is a score 100 to 95. Whoever gets 124 points first wins the All-Star game. So it's kind of a little tribute that they're going to do to honor Kobe Bryant and his uniform number 24. And also, Team Giannis and Team LeBron are both going to be wearing Kobe Bryant's and Gianna Bryant's jersey numbers to honor them, too. And that's a really genuine moment. Kobe Bryant impacted a lot of players and a lot of fans. So letting that be something they do for the game is really going to be a great way to honor them. So now that I covered the rules of the All-Star format, let me do my prediction. Everyone's saying Team LeBron's going to win over Team Giannis, that Giannis is a terrible drafter, and I agree. Team LeBron's going to win. I mean, they got the better players, and they got the more experienced players, and they got the ballers. They got the people on the team who are going to go and get theirs. You got LeBron on that team, first of all. You got Damian Lillard on that team. They're going to go and get theirs. Watch out for Damian Lillard as my low-key MVP pick for the All-Star game. Keep an eye on that. Stan told you first. Now for the fun part of the weekend, let's get to my All-Star weekend predictions. So first, let's go to the dunk contest. The dunk contest, you have Pat Connaughton from the Milwaukee Bucks, Aaron Gordon from the Orlando Magic, Dwight Howard making his return to the dunk contest. Superman is back, y'all, from the Los Angeles Lakers, and Derrick Jones Jr. for the Miami Heat. Now, when you look at it, you'll see that Aaron Gordon is plus 115 for the odds to be dunk contest champion. Now, is he my pick for being the dunk contest champion? No, I'm not going to pick Aaron Gordon to be the dunk contest champion. I know it's an upset, but I'm going to go with Derrick Jones Jr. Most of the time in a dunk contest, when you're a returning dunk contest candidate, you try to do too much. So a lot of times you might end up missing a dunk or two. And when you miss a dunk in a dunk contest, the way it's set up where you only get 2 dunks, that can be detrimental to your score. I'm going to go with Derrick Jones Jr. because he is the highest flying, I think, out of all of them. Yes, Aaron Gordon put on a great performance when he went against Zach LaVine. That was one for the ages. But I think Derrick Jones Jr. is going to win this dunk contest. And it's going to be a tough competitive one. But I think he's going to come back and he's going to put on a show. Derrick Jones Jr., that's who you need to know. Now, the next thing in the All-Star weekend is a 3-point contest. Now, they changed this too. I don't know why they keep changing stuff, but they keep on changing it. But the 3-point contest has a tweak with 2 deep shots in addition to the money balls. So these deep shots are going to be 6 feet back from the 3-point line. Each of these shots is going to add more points to the total, so the records are going to be a little bit off for who scored the most, who made the most in the 3-point contest. But here's the participants in this year's 3-point contest. You have Davis Bertans, you have Devontae Graham, Joe Harris, Buddy Hield, Zach LaVine, Damian Lillard, and Duncan Robinson. Oh, yeah, and Trae Young, of course, from Atlanta. All-Star game starter, by the way. Now, who do I pick? Well, you got some interesting candidates. You got Davis Bertans from Washington Wizards, shooting 42% from 3 this year. You have the returning champion, Joe Harris from the Brooklyn Nets, back in the competition. You got Duncan Robinson, a sniper out in Miami, 5th in the league with 44% from 3. And then you got the bona fide stars, Zach LaVine, Damian Lillard, Trae Young. And you still got Devontae Graham, who's up and coming out in Charlotte, and he's getting buckets down there. Now, how do I pick who's going to win the 3-point contest? Well, for the 3-point contest, you're stagnant shooting shots. It's really imitating a catch and shoot. So with that, I'm going to take Devontae Graham, Zach LaVine, Damian Lillard, and Trae Young all off the list. All their shots are off the dribble. They're great 3-point shooters, but they're off the dribble, so I'm not going to pick them. Now that leaves me with Davis Bertans, Joe Harris, Buddy Hield, and Duncan Robinson. Now, how do I pick from those 3? Well, Joe Harris is last year's champion, but they added that new 3-point shot in the back, so I'm not going to pick him. My 2 leaders are going to be Davis Bertans and Duncan Robinson. Now, who am I going to pick? I'm going to pick Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson is my pick for this year's 3-point contest winner. He's really the underdog. People aren't going to know his name as much. He's down in Miami being overshadowed by Jimmy Butler, rightfully so, I must add. But Duncan Robinson will win this three-point contest. You know why? Because he's a little bit bigger than Davis Bertans muscularly. So I think that's going to help him not get as tired when he has to shoot those shots from 6 feet back. He's going to be able to control his body throughout and make more shots. I got Duncan Robinson winning this year's three-point contest. Well, now it's time for the segment that you've all been waiting for. Who is the Nightstand's standout of the week? Now, this highlights an athlete who's standing out, whether that's in their community or on the court or whatnot. But this week is a very special week. February 14th is coming up, Valentine's Day. So now we're going to look at the standout athlete relationships. Now, with the standout athlete relationships, you got some who are power couples, some who are mostly geared around the athlete, but they're all great couples in their own right. There's no shade on who's not on this list, who's on the list, or who's not. So let's get to it. First, I gotta go with Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. Now, Dwayne Wade's no longer an athlete, but him and Gabrielle Union have been a power couple for some ages now. Like, the stuff they're doing off the court now is almost as good as what D Wade was doing on the court back then. You also have Brady and Giselle. Now, everyone's trying to figure out where Brady's going to play next year, and they're saying, well, where does Giselle want to go? Not where Brady wants to go. Where does Giselle want to go? Now, that should tell you enough. You also got Savannah and LeBron. LeBron James has been with Savannah since who knows when, back in high school. You know how long that's been? Like, you got to put them on the list just because of that. Next is I don't even know. This is like everyone's favorite out there. Tiana Taylor and Amon Shumpert. When I say this is people's relationship goals, I am not selling it short. People aspire for this relationship. I don't know why, but it's their relationship goals. Tiana and Amon, they had to be on the list. I could not forget them. You got a new one, fairly new compared to some of these other ones. You got Victor Cruz and Carucci. Carucci got famous while she was in her relationship with Chris Brown. And now that that's over, she's back with Victor Cruz. Well, not back. She started dating Victor Cruz. And that's a couple that you see all over Carucci's timeline. They're very in love. You got to be proud of them for their growth together. You also got one that y'all might not know of, Chanel Amon and Sterling Shepard. They are married now. They got married, tied a knot back in 2018. Chanel Amon and Sterling Shepard for the Giants. Then you have NASCAR legend Danica Patrick and Aaron Rodgers, quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. Now, this is an athlete power couple at its finest. Two of the best to do what they do. Danica Patrick is retired now, but they still are some of the best to do what they do. Speaking of best to do what they do, you have to acknowledge Zach and Julie Ertz. Zach Ertz, one of the best tight ends in the NFL, and Julie Ertz, a women's soccer dog, like just out there, just on the women's national team, scoring goals left and right, playing defense all night. Just wow. Julie Ertz might be better at her sport than Zach is at his. Who knows? But they're both very good. Then you got the one everyone's been talking about these past few weeks, Travis Kelce and Kayla Nicole. Travis Kelce on the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Kayla Nicole right there with them right after. You got to acknowledge that. You got Giannis and Mariah. They just had a new baby just the other day. Congratulations to that couple. You know, bringing new life into the world is a beautiful thing. You got A-Rod and J-Lo. Aaron Rodriguez, a baseball legend, and Jennifer Lopez just performed at the Super Bowl. Killed it, by the way. Her and Shakira. A-Rod and J-Lo. You got to acknowledge them. But last but not least, y'all really didn't think I was going to forget this couple, did you? Y'all probably can guess it by now. Gotta shout out Sierra and Russell Wilson. Now, you got the TL going crazy when you talk about Sierra and Russ. Because, you know, Sierra used to date Future. Russ is now talking with Future's little kid. You got all that drama. But it's not really no drama with them two. It's all outside created. That's how you stay focused on what's yours and not let the outside get in it. Sierra and Russell Wilson. Now, Valentine's Day is coming up, so if you got a couple, some of y'all might be dating athletes, who knows? But maybe y'all be on this list next year. For now, I just want to thank you for tuning into The Nightstand, hosted by yours truly, Stan Beckton. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Nightstand Show. You can search us, The Nightstand, hashtag The Nightstand, anytime you want to talk about the show, post it on Instagram, anything like that. You can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, subscribe to us on Spotify. Thank you for coming, and just know, The Nightstand is your favorite show.